Yololiv has recently released the new YoloCam S3, and they gave me a sample version of it to give it a shot and test it out. Now, this is not a sponsored video, and I'm allowed to say whatever I want to about this, but you know me already. Most of the stuff that I test is primo stuff, and this S3 is definitely one of them. Let's take a quick look at what's inside the box. So this is a very good high quality box from Yololiv, and as I go in, I'm gonna see two internal boxes. Now a smaller box and a bigger box inside. So let's see what's in the big box. Cable and some instruction cards. Okay, great, so that's easy peasy. Now from the cable itself, let's see what we got here. We've got a USB-A to USB-C adapter and a USB-A to USB-C cable. So that's really good already. And what does it say here? It says USB cable for UVC. So that basically means that this is meant for this camera. Now inside of this smaller white box, I gotta tell you right now off the bat, this is heavy. There is something really good inside here. And I'm gonna guess we've got a bigger box here, which looks like the camera. And oh yeah, okay. The one thing about the S3 is that they claim it is never going to overheat. Now this is a 4K USB camera, and a lot of 4K cameras can overheat, but this thing literally feels like a solid metal block, and it's extremely heavy. So the cooling on this camera is probably far superior compared to other webcams of its similarity. So that's really nice. So it's beautiful lens on the front. Let's get rid of that little cover, and we can see here that now it's got some knurling texture on it. You would think that it's got a focus, but it's not. Then on the back is a single USB-C port. So that is really nice. That is super high quality. All right, now let's see what's inside this smaller box. And this looks like the stand. Yeah, there we go. So this also is an aluminum block, or maybe steel block, but it is really good high quality, very good hinges. And as you can see, the camera itself has a little magnet icon. Can you see that little magnetic icon on the bottom and on the short edge? So it's both on the long edge and the short edge, which means that this is magnetic. So if I click it, there you go. So I can click it in a vertical mode, or I can turn it and make it go horizontal as well. Very nice. The magnets are really strong, which means that this camera is not going to move. And essentially this allows you to go ahead and connect this to the top of your screen or laptop display and have near unlimited angles. If you wanted to make it look down, maybe you wanted to do that, then that's totally fine. But you can just make it level, and it's really nice. Good high quality stuff. So right now I'm using a mirrorless camera. This is the Sony ZV-E10 running a 24mm f1.8 lens. So therefore you do see a little bit of blurring in the background. But now let's switch over to this YoloCam S3 and see what this looks like. All right, so the S3 is now connected, and this is an out-of-the-box experience. You can see here, it's a very wide camera. Now, this camera currently is set probably about 2 arms lengths away, so it's about 5 feet or so. So far, it looks pretty good. The color is really nice. You don't see any of the bokeh because obviously this is a webcam. And while the sensor is fairly large, it also doesn't really compare to any other type of lens that comes off of a mirrorless or DSLR camera. Now, let's take a quick look at the software and make some adjustments here. So this is the Yololiv Compose software app. Now, out of the box, when I did select it, it did show in a horizontal mode, and I did have to convert this over to 16:9, so kind of came out of the box looking like this. Now I can switch that over. I do like the fluidness of 60 Hertz, so that is a nice feature here. And it does seem to be a little bit more overblown in my opinion. So let's go over to image settings and let's see. Oh, one nice cool thing about this is the AI parameter. So let's hit start and let's run this AI to see what this, I gotta log in, okay. Would be nice if you didn't have to log in. That'd be really nice. Let's see how that goes. All right, so the code 9865. Okay, so now the software is logged in, and let's hit AI parameters. So let's see what this does. All right, so it says, please try to keep the scene and people stationary after the host enters the frame so we can adjust for the best results. Now, I'm gonna look at the camera. Maybe it's looking at my face, maybe it's looking at my eyes, but I'm gonna move and not do so much. So you can see it's going through all of the different parameters and settings. Now, I get one of three options. Obviously, I'm not gonna go for the blurry option here. I do have a couple of other things here. So I like the look of this third one. So I'm gonna hit confirm, and let's see what this does next. It looks like it's kind of like, you know, when you go to the eye doctor, you say, which one is better? 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, or 1 or 2, 1 or 2, left or right kind of a thing. Now it looks like this is the color temperature, and I do have a blue background. This one does seem the most accurate. This one is a little bit on the cold side. So let's choose that middle one. So this is actually really nice. I would definitely say that the skin tones are more accurate. And as you can see here on this, let's just switch this over to my mirrorless. I do obviously have this adjusted a little bit warmer, but this out of the box experience is pretty close. I'm gonna say for a webcam, it's really good. Now I can go ahead and zoom in a bit and make it very similar to what this other lens looks like. Let's do a 56 millimeter. All right, so this is actually really good. Let's see what I can do here. I'm gonna change the image. I'm gonna reduce the contrast a little bit and reduce the saturation just a tad bit. And this lens shading correction is really interesting. If I have it enabled, everything looks normal on the outer edges. Once I disable it, you kind of get this moire, this vignetting, darkening on the sides a little bit, which may or may not be something that you prefer in your camera look, but that's kind of interesting and nice. Let's see if I can change some of the exposure. So the exposure is now currently manual, and that's definitely on the higher end. Let's go down a little bit. All right. So this is what the YoloCam S3 looks like. I think I want to change the white balance. So the AI, as good as it is, it's not perfect. So let's now adjust the white balance according to what I have all of my lights set at 4600. And now this is definitely much more accurate according to what things are looking like. So let's see, this is what the software is looking like, and you can see here all of these things are here. Now I'm not sure what this is. I don't know. This is 64. I really don't know what that is doing, so let's just leave it at that. The blue offset is making a little bit of an adjustment in terms of that and the red offset. So this is kind of nice. I do like the way that this camera does look, and I gotta tell you, for a $200 webcam or under $200 webcam, this is probably the best that I've ever seen. In terms of sharpness and quality and color characteristics, I'm gonna say that this camera is really phenomenal. Now, temperature-wise, I just felt the camera and is not that crazy hot. It's actually it's warm, let's put it that way. But I think as I continuously use this camera for longer term, it definitely will get hot. And that's what you want. You want that outer metal body to get hot as it dissipates the heat away from the sensor, and your camera's not gonna shut off. So this is, first off, out of the box, this is the first time me using this camera. I gotta say, I kinda like it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this camera, the YoloCam S3. And in another video, I'm gonna go dive a little bit deeper into all of the settings. This is just my first look. All right, cheers.